Hello everybody, welcome to another video from myself. It's me, Nosy. Today I bring you a new movie review. Today's movie review is going to be on an independent movie that I just love. Absolutely love. So, without further ado, I'm talking about Damien Chazelle's Whiplash from 2014. Let's do this. Whiplash 2014 by Damien Chazelle. Now, what is this movie? That's the whole point of this review. Well, it follows a young kid called Andrew, and he wants to go to this prestigious and really famous music academy where only the finest of young talent is kind of is allowed in there, basically. So, long story short, that's his ambition. He wants to be a drummer. You know, his passion is to be a drummer. He wants to be a great drummer, specifically in a jazz band. So, this film centres around jazz music. So, this won't be for everybody, but at the same time, I believe anybody can watch this and enjoy it, regardless of the music genre. It's a type of film that you can watch whether you're a fan or not, because the music in this is actually quite interesting. I mean, I do like a little bit of jazz. I won't say I'm a massive fan of it, but I do like, I've listened to certain things and I quite like it. I quite like jazz, I like reggae, I like rock, metal, quite a few different genres. So, jazz music to me I like. So this movie, not just because of that, I like it because of how it's been brought forward. This film is based upon true events of the guy who directed this movie. So Damien Chazelle, it's based on his experiences that he had when he was training to be a drummer for a jazz band, and how much he went through with being ridiculed and being basically treated like trash in order to get him to the standard that they wanted. So it's kind of like a biopic about himself in a way, but it's, at the same time, it's to kind of demonstrate and kind of spread awareness, if you will, that this stuff is going on. And there's also a lot of stories that the director of this movie also heard from other people in similar situations that are training to be a musician, training to be a drummer or what have you, and they are getting this really horrible experience that has pretty much kind of, caused us to sacrifice so much and also put them through a lot of anxiety, depression, and a lot of problems. But at the same time, I assume they got where they wanted to be. He has this dream. He wants to become a great drummer. He listens to jazz music pretty much all the time. He doesn't have many friends. He's a bit of an introvert. He doesn't really hang out. He doesn't do much. The only thing he does on a fairly regular basis is that he goes to cinema with his dad. He lives at home still. He's only a college kid. But obviously his mum apparently must have left him and his dad when he was younger. So it's only Andrew and his dad. So he's going through a lot of emotions in his personal life as well. And the only thing that he has passion for is to become a drummer. And he yearns, right from the beginning of this movie, he yearns for the approval and for the respect from a specific teacher that teaches or composes one of the bands at the college that he goes to. So we'll get to his character in a moment. So Miles Teller is the guy who plays Andrew. So just talking about that actor and how he portrayed this, is that Damien really worked very closely with Miles in order to really give this imprint pretty much of himself. And I've watched the special features of this film, and there's this like Q&A thing when this movie was being shown at a film festival, and Miles Teller was there as well as J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is also in this movie, and the director. And pretty much he was asked a question of how did you prepare for this movie, and that basically Miles Teller is a trained drummer. Played the drums since he was 16 years old. When he was younger, he was in bands. He also did it kind of just, jamming along with friends as well. But he played rock music, which is a completely different genre. And when you are having to learn jazz, it's a completely different kettle of fish. It's a different way of holding the sticks, the amount of tempo, the amount of speed needed in order to get a lot of the expression from the music that is being played. It really is a vigorous and very, you need a lot of stamina and a lot of patience and a lot of respect, basically a lot of self-respect to really push yourself. And that is something Miles Teller's character, or Andrew, doesn't have. At the beginning, he's a very timid kid, doesn't have much self-respect. He's very withdrawn. So Miles Teller really plays that really well. He has this innocence about him. And then when he meets J.K. Simmons' character, which I'll get onto in a moment, that really steadily starts to change, and he starts to come over with this quite a commanding presence about himself, and he becomes a totally different person by the end of this film. We now come to J.K. Simmons' character. Now, J.K. Simmons, I see him as one of my all-time favourite actors. He's a really great method actor. So J.K. Simmons plays Terence Fletcher, and he is a composer of one of the bands. Now, Andrew is in a separate class. He's actually been conducted in a different band. The guy conducting that band is actually a really nice guy, and he will sit down and he will explain, right, okay, what was you doing wrong? How can you better this? How can you better that? He's a much more level-headed guy. But J.K. Simmons' character, or Terence Fletcher, he is a completely kettle of fish. He is a perfectionist to the point where he's like a drill sergeant. He really is. He's like a drill sergeant, really praying at the vulnerable and the very timid people. He doesn't want anything less than perfection. He will go to the lengths to the point of ridiculing anybody. He will literally ridicule them to the point of tears and break them mentally. He is a bit of a prick. He really is a bit of a prick, but J.K. Simmons plays his character so well. He has this commanding presence about himself. The way his body language and everything, he just emits confidence, and he just emits this. Pretty much as soon as he walks through the door, everybody in his class, in his band, are terrified of him. Just an incredible performance from both of these two actors. This film only really has two main characters, and it only really follows those two characters. When he's playing with Terence Fletcher's band, he starts to get a bit more confident because he ends up getting to this point where he sacrifices everything to become a great drummer in the eyes of Terence Fletcher, and he wants to just perfect any problems that he had. He literally goes through so much, does Andrew. He goes through so much turmoil at the hands of this teacher, this composer. It is incredible. And you feel that. From his performance, you really feel it. You kind of stood behind him And I personally, when I was watching this, I felt what he felt. I had the same emotion as he had. Every little knock, every little grind, every little issue, every little, every little horrible thing his teacher was really at him about, not just him, anyone else. I really felt it, because it is one of those things where you're like, bloody hell, dude, calm the fuck down. You can kind of hear yourself kind of talking to the TV, and obviously he can't hear you, but you're kind of like, you wish you was there to kind of give the guy a thump across the face, because that's the type of guy he is. But saying that, with how visceral and how personal this guy can be, in order to mould a player, a musician in his band, and for you to get a spot in his band is an extra special thing, because if you get the approval of him, you could go places, and that's the type of presence the guy has. But if you think about it, Andrew, he starts off, like I said, as this really timid kid, not much confidence, not much drive, but he does want to become a drummer, and he really is trying to get the notice and the attention, trying to get the attention of Terence Fletcher, his teacher. And he will go through any sort of means in order to do that. But with doing that, we've kind of been experiencing pretty much all that turmoil, all those personal attacks, and how he went about it. He really changed as a person, and he ended up becoming incredible. He gets to the point where at the end of the film, he actually answers back. He tells him, I will bring you into it. He's the composer, the teacher's the composer, but him being the drummer, he's at this point of confident peak, this peak of confidence where I'll cue you in. He's cueing the composer, and it's usually the other way around. So he ended up complete flip reversal, and it's just such a brilliant film. The cinematography, how this is captured, is really quite a very personal feel to it. The camera is always in the faces. It's always up close, so it's very personal feel. So that is all I've got to say about Whiplash, 2014 film by Damien Chazelle. It is a brilliant film. This is the type of film that I could watch all the time. It's just that much of an engrossing film that you could watch and watch and watch. So thank you for watching, my friends, and until next time, stay awesome, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.